It's recorded.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Every day where
After
you're
we are
done.
done, yeah, after
Okay.
I'm done, I will upload it
Okay,
on the
Google
Google
Drive.
on the class. Yeah. No, on
Alright.
YouTube. I will upload it on YouTube. I'm taking it a step further. Okay. So as I
Okay.
mentioned, I
Thank you.
said this class will last for 6 weeks, and I've draft out the roadmap we'll be following. So let me just walk you through because sorry, am I sharing my screen? Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we actually have a lot to cover because data analysis is actually like uh, it's a whole course. Some people use 6 months to 1 year to learn it, and we just want to we want to learn everything in just 6 weeks. So in a way, we will rush it. In a way, we will rush it actually. There's no way to sugarcoat it, but we try as much as possible to break it down. So let's just rush to what we'll be treating in this particular course. So introduction to Excel, then we navigate, we get accustomed to the Excel platform, Excel worksheets, all the data types that we have. Then we do some data cleaning. Then we introduce ourselves to the formulas and function, introduction to Power Query. Then also we do our first guided project on Excel. And the next thing, because we're actually creating three analytics tools, which are Excel, Power BI, and SQL. So the next project in study, I'm expecting us to start introduction to SQL. Then we do some basic SQL syntax, from basic SQL syntax to advanced SQL syntax. Then we look at the Windows function. Also, we do another project on SQL, and also we look at we discuss Power BI. We understand the interface of Power BI. Then we do some advanced chart, some basic charts, then we do some advanced chart, then we do another project there. So actually we have a lot of things to learn in a short time. So I'm begging for everyone cooperation, discipline, because it depends on us majorly. Is to teach it is very easy, but okay, how do we implement what we've learned in this particular course? And that's the most important thing. I want us uh to be present in every class. It is better when you are present in a live class. You get to ask your question, you get to ask um everything that seems unclear rather than you watching the recording. It's better when you're in the question, you get to interact with other class members also. So without further ado, so let's just start the class. So what's data analysis? What's data analysis? Data analysis. So data analysis is just like using past data because I'm trying to define it in a layman term. It's more like using data analysis is just using past data to make an informed decision basically. So let me use an example. Let's say you have a superstore. Let me open my result. Okay, let me explain now. Let's say we have a superstore, or let's say we have a pharmacy store. So at this in January, in my pharmacy store in January, I sell paracetamol the most. In February, I sell Flagyl the most. In March, I sell what's that? Let's say stationaries the most. So it the same pattern repeat themselves for like 3 years consecutively. So what do you expect? Preparing for a new year, what do you expect me to sell in January 2026 if I sell paracetamol the most in the last 3 years? What do you expect me to sell um in 2026 January? Can anyone answer that? Hello, are you guys with me? Yeah, I'm trying to re-strategize now, sorry.
Libraries and job. You just making it July no go room. Koko wait make I come breastfeed the job. Why not say no need to come? Where we go? I wan see prayer dey come. Make I dey with you now. Wait for me now, ba. Yeah, I'm not for it. Really crazy. Yes. Oh, no, thank you. I don't appreciate it. Yeah, please. I need more. Yeah, you guys stop with this.
Okay. So I've tried to visualize it here. So January 2023, I sell paracetamol the most. January 2024, I sell paracetamol the most. January 2025, I sell paracetamol the most. The same thing happened in February and March. So now preparing for 2026, what do you expect me to sell? Or what do you expect me to stock up in January? Can anyone answer that?
Paracetamol.
Hello? Exactly. Because we are using the past data to make an informed decision. And basically that's what data analysis is. So you are using the past pattern or yeah, let's say past data to get um you look through the patterns and the trend, then you derive your decision. You make an informed decision. Basically, that's what we call data analysis. So what exactly is data? So everything we are doing basically is just data. So now we have like 10 people on this call. That's the data. Whenever you walk into a superstore and you try to pay for anything, you notice that the cashier or whatever or the sales rep and try to collect, okay, what do you buy? Try to enter the product you are buying, uh, enter the prices and stuff like that. So the data is actually used to, you will analyze the data as a data analyst. You'll be the one to analyze the data, make an informed decision. Okay, at this, and in the morning, we sell more of biscuits. In the afternoon, we sell more of this. In the evening, we sell more of this. So these are the things we try to get informed decision in all aspects. We have different type of data analysis. We have the exploratory data analysis. We have descriptive data analysis. We have prescriptive data analysis. We have different type of data analysis. Also, um, we have different data analytics too. We have almost like five or six. We have Excel. We have Power BI. We have SQL. We have Python. We have we have more than six actually. We have Lucas, we have Tableau, we have SPSS, we have a lot of them. So let's say we have Excel. Let me write it down. So we have Excel, we have SQL, we have Power BI, we have Tableau, we have SPSS, we have what else? Lucas, we have Google Analytics. So the first thing you want to ask is that we have all these and we are just treating we are just looking at or we'll be discussing about three analytics too. Why not everything? The truth is actually in real life when you become a data analyst, there's a probability that you will actually be working with one or two of them. So you may actually learn everything when you become a data analyst and you just use majorly only SPSS or something. So there's high probability when you learn these three basic tools, which are Excel, SQL, and Power BI, the knowledge are transferable. You understand? The knowledge is transferable. So you can easily transfer the knowledge you know here and you can easily work with other analytics too. So if you actually know how to navigate Excel you are very proficient in Excel, there's you can actually work with SPSS. The interface might look strange in a day or two, but you get accustomed to it within a very short period of time. So the same thing, Power BI Tableau, Lucas, and Google Analytics. So if you're very proficient in Power BI, you can understand Tableau better, faster, also Lucas and Google Analytics, which is why we are actually looking at these three important basic analytics tools, which are Excel, SQL, and Power BI. Actually, what I've opened in this that is displaying on your screen is what we call Excel. I also have SQL on my screen. If I should actually pick something like this, SQL. Let me just start it here. SQL. Okay. Okay, this is it. So I also have SQL and also for what do I call it? For Power BI. Currently I don't have a Power BI on my laptop, but I walked you through how to download Power BI. So you don't need to download anything. The only thing you need, obviously, Excel comes with your laptop. So you can just click on, you can just you can just search for Excel on your laptop so you can see Excel there. So without further ado, let's try to understand what Excel is and okay. So um okay, let's try to understand what Excel is because we all know we have limited time and we have to cover a lot of things. So if I'm actually rushing, try to interrupt me so I can actually know you don't understand it. So we have Excel here. Excel is like basic tool for analysis, and it is very understand. It is very easy to understand. So let's just launch our Excel. So when you launch our Excel, we'll see something like this there. But you can easily see I have a lot of projects here. I have a lot of recent projects here because obviously I'm a data analyst and I work with data, and that's why you can see the last project I've done here is on Saturday, which is like 3 days ago, I guess. Yeah, that's 3 days ago. So when you are working, you can see these are my recent projects. So, but you may not actually see anything like this when you launch your own Excel, but you see some things like this. So you want to click on blank workbook for now because we actually don't need all this one. So we see something like welcome to Excel, take it off, formula for you. We still do everything and we still treat everything here. So you can when you launch your own, you may not see all these all this worksheet here, you may see another names here, but whatever names you have there, just click on the blank workbook. So what I've opened now is what we call Excel worksheet. So you can see we have a lot of cells here. This is what we call a worksheet. This particular page is what we call a worksheet. But if you look at this, what do we call this? Tax bar, you can see we have a plus button here. So you can click on more button and you can see I've created another worksheet. So you can click on the more button, then you can see I've created another worksheet. So we can create up to 255 worksheets like this. That means as a data analyst, you work with more than one worksheet basically. So when you look at the far right, you can see something like column. So what does it mean? So I know everyone understand what column and row is. So what is column? We have something like this header here, this column header. You can see we have A, B, C, D up to Z. We actually have more than A to Z. We have far more than A to Z. So let me just try to plug this behind. So after Z, you can see something like A, B, A. So even if we are done with AZ, then we still start from BA. So it's continuous. It's not exhaustive. So let's continue. So let's try to understand this one. So you can see all these column header, column A, column B. So when I over my mouse, you can see my mouse look like a fat plus sign. So if I over my mouse on this column header, I can see something. My cursor has changed from a plus sign to a downward arrow sign. So this particular, if I left click, I can see I like all this column. This is actually a column. This column A, this column B, this column C, this column D, this column E. So everything we have in that column, that's what we call column. So we can see we have 1, 2, 3 by the left hand side. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I toggle my mouse on this number, you can see something like it has changed to an arrow facing the right. So that's what we call this part. If I highlight it like this by just clicking on the left and by left clicking, so I can see it highlights all the rows. So that's what we call the rows. So this is the column and this is the row. This is the row. So now let's say I click this one. So you can easily see this is column A, row 1, arrow. So now who can tell me? Okay, let me discuss this one. We have column C, row 3. So how do you even know when you click on a random cell? How do you even know what column you are picking or what row you are clicking? So you can see when you look at this particular column and header, this column header, it has a deeper shade of gray than the rest. You understand? If you look at this color, it will look like this the shade of this gray is a little bit darker than the rest. So to the rest, if you look at this one, you can see row 8, the shade of gray is darker uh than other rows. So if you click on this, you can easily say this is column I, row 11. So who can tell me? Anyone who can volunteer to tell me what column I am in currently? What's column and what's the row number? Anyone, please unmute your mic.
Column E, row 11.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So we have column E, row 11. So and that's what exactly this name box is doing. So you can see we have something like E11. That means column E, row 11. So if I should click on this one, you can see something like column H, row 8. So if you actually look at it, okay, this is actually column H, and this is actually row 8. So this particular box is what we call name box. You can see when I over my mouse there, you can see something like name box. So also, if you look at this, the header, or let me just call it the tab. We do call them the menu tab. So we have different type of menu. So menu is just like different type of option. So we have our home tab, we have the insert tab, we have the draw tab. Oh, what's happening? Okay. Okay. So we have the home tab, we have the insert tab, we have the draw tab, we have the page layout tab, tab. We have the formulas tab, we have the data tab, we have the review tab, we have the view tab, we have the help tab. So when you look at your own computer, or when you launch your Excel and you look at it, you may not exactly see the same thing as this one because I'm using Excel 2021. So when you look at your own, maybe you are using Microsoft 365 or you are using Excel 2016 or you are using Excel 2013. So you may not have the same interface as I do. So, but we almost have the same function, even though there are some differences. But yeah, we do have almost the same function there. So we have home tab here. Under this home tab, we have different sections. Can you see? We have the clipboard section, we have the font section, we have the alignment, you have the numbers, you have the styles, you have the cells and editing. Also, the same thing for insert, you have different section there. The same thing for draw, page layout, formulas, data. You have different sections there. So we also have this different section for other tabs. So most of the information or most of the tools or most of the buttons we'll be using as data analyst is actually on the home tab. So insert tab, majorly when we are using insert, it's more like you are trying to insert things that normally will not be on Excel. If you want to insert shape before, you can see something like illustration, just want to click on this one. If you want to import pictures from your computer into the Excel, stuff like that. And you can also see we have pivot table, we have some charts. These are like graphs, column, all these column charts, bar charts. We also have it in our insert tab. So basically, those are the things we have there. We will discuss this further as we go on in the course. So we've understand what this is. We can say this is our tab now. We know this is the mailbox. So now we can see something like FX. So from the word FX, you already know that okay, this thing is about something statistics, something like that. So this is actually the formula bar. Now, when you hear about formula bar, you want to think about okay, maybe this particular box is just exclusive for writing formulas, and that's not actually 100% correct. So you can write anything inside the cell. So now, what do I mean by cell? You can see when I click on any cell here, you have the highlighted cell. This box is what we call a cell. So when I highlight on a group of cells, this big box is what we call an aggregate of cells. And that's fine because if it's more than one cell, a box is called a cell, while a group of them is called an aggregate of cells. You understand? So now if I should click on one cell, if you look at this, So when you click on this, when you click on any cell, you can see at this left, at this bottom left, you can see something like ready. So if I should actually click on my formula bar, then if click it, you can see something like edit. So let's say I write sheet here and sheet one. So if I should click on this sheet two, I can actually edit it here. Can you see it change to edit here? So let's say I want to write instead of sheet two, I want to write what should I write? Let's say sheet. So can you see I've actually edited what was here before, which was sheet two. Now I've edited it to two. So you can actually write English words here. It's not exclusive for formulas only. But yeah, we do write a lot of formula inside to there. So when we are performing arithmetic operation, we make use of this one. When we are trying to edit names and stuff too, we also make use of our formula bar. So basically that's all about the interface of Excel worksheet. So we have worksheet, we have sheet one, we have sheet two, we have sheet three. So if you right click on each sheet, you have a list of options of what you can do. So let's say this sheet one, I want to rename it to data entry because obviously we are just trying to we are introducing ourselves to data entry. That's part of our scheme of work. So let's just say data entry. Data entry is just like how do you enter data? So basically that's it. So we've separate this one. This looks more professional now because you can actually say, okay, this particular sheet, this worksheet is for data entry. Let's say this one is for analysis. You can double click also to edit the name of the sheet. Double click on the sheet name, then write this one analysis. Then click on this sheet three. You can right click also and rename. So you can rename this one to let's say visualization. So now because I'm done with everything here, I'm done with this sheet. I can easily say, okay, this worksheet, the first worksheet is for data entry. The second worksheet is where my analysis is, or where my analysis are, and the last worksheet is where the visualization is. So that's the thing. But now let's make it colorful. So you can also right click. You have something like tab color. So you can give it a color of your choice. Let's say I want black for this one. If I should click out of there, you can see this particular data entry is now black in color. So you can spice this one up also. You can click on the tab color and just click on any color of your choice. So actually color is a big thing when you're working if you're a data analyst. So you will not be a data analyst for Glow. No, the color code for Glow is green and white, I guess. Yeah, green and white. And the color shade you'll be using for their analysis will not be yellow. That's very wrong. So color is actually a big thing in data analysis, but we'll talk more on that later in the course. So yeah, that's basically Excel interface. Now, can I ask everyone if we understand the Excel interface now, how it looks and what everything works for? Can anyone unmute their mic? Like, or if you cannot unmute their mic, can you reply with an emoji so I know you are with me? Okay, only two person, only two people. Oh, great. I have plenty. Okay, great. Okay, so now let's continue because we actually have a long way to go. Okay, so let's write something like this. We have sheet two here. Mhm. Okay, now let's look at this data I've entered here. So the first column or the first cell, sorry, we have sheet two. We can easily read the sheet two and we can easily tell that okay, this is actually in column E. row 8. That's explicit enough. So we have Abdul Qayyum, but now we expect Abdul Qayyum to be in column F row 10, but Abdul Qayyum is actually spinning over into column G. Can you see? We have Abdul Qayyum there. So if I should click on, if you look at this, you can see this data is occupying two cells, right? So the same thing as an animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is occupying two cells. So in real life, if you click on this one and we look at our formula bar, we can see something like animal husbandry, which is colon D12. So let's click on cell U12 also. If I should click on this one, so I can see my formula bar, I can't see anything. That means in reality, this animal husbandry is not actually spinning into this colon, into this particular cell. So how do we differentiate that? Now let's say we have plethora of data. Let's say we have like 20,000, 1 million rows of data, because you can actually have a million rows of data. So how do you confirm that? So if you click on this row one, so control shift down arrow, control shift down arrow, or you can just press control down arrow. Can you see the list? Okay, the list row, you can see we have 1,048,576. That means you can easily have 1 million rows in your Excel to analyze. So 1 million rows is not even a lot of data. So if you are a data analyst and you're working for a bank, in an hour, we have more than a million transactions going on in the world. So 1 million rows of data will be exhausted in just an hour if you're working as a data analyst in a bank. So it's not a lot of data. So now let's just start. So now how do we want to easily view the data? If you are data analyst, one of your job or one of your responsibility is to make the data readable. So let's click on this. You can see we have column D, we have column E, and when I over my mouse on this column header, my mouse, the shape of my mouse or the shape of my cursor, sorry, it changes from a start plus arrow to arrow downward facing arrow. So you can see when I toggle my mouse between the border of column E and column D and column E, you can see there's a place where it changes to um double edge arrow. So this particular thing, you can enlarge it manually. You can left click and drag your mouse. So you can see now it's actually a cell which is only for animals boundary. That it is not actually spinning into cell E12, but it just look like that. So basically that's what I want to emphasize on. So instead of double clicking, we also have Adecoin spinning into um cell G10. We also have Adecoin spinning into cell G10. Uh, instead of going between the column F and column G, where we can enlarge this cell manually. You can just double click on this. You have to look out for your arrow. When it changes to this double edge arrow, you can double click once. Can you see? You can see how the coin is going. So you can also do the same for this one. So let's do it again. So this animal bandy, it looks like it is spinning over into column E, right? So you can just come here and just do 1, 2, and then you can see your animals bandy info. So now let's try to redo this one again. Now instead of going to all the cell to actually enlarge their cell to double tap on the borderline of each column. So what if you have like 200 column? Does that mean that we will do we will enlarge everything manually? So that's why you can see there's actually a space between this column header and the rows. There's something like a downward arrow there. So if I should just left click on this, it will highlight all the cell here. So I can easily double click on the column header of any column header here. So this is M and N. So there is a column header here. So I can just double click here once. So all the cell will be visible. Can you see animals boundary is now visible? Sheet 2 is now visible and African is now visible. So if I should write something like this, let's say we have animals boundary.
Sorry, I didn't get what you did now.
Okay, I will explain. Thank you. I have animals boundary. Then I'm writing pharmacy here. So looking at this particular cells, you can see normally if I should click on this cell, I can see something like animal husbandry in my formula bar, right? But if I should click on this pharmacy, I can see pharmacy and I can see pharmacy. Ordinarily, I can't see animal husbandry here, but I know animal husbandry is in this cell. If I should go here between the at the and if I should go to the borderline separating J and K, so I can just enlarge it manually and I can see my animals boundary uh visibly. So but let's say we are not doing those manual things. So there is actually what we call it a downward facing arrow between the row and the column header. You understand? So if you want to click on this downward arrow, so when you click on that downward arrow, it will highlight the all the cells in this worksheet. Do you get that? So you can just go to any so you can click any borderline separating any column here. So let's say this D and D. If I should drag this one, it will affect all the data set because I've highlighted all the cells in the worksheet. So if you should apply any change in this data set, it will happen to everything and you can see I have animals around you. So now let's try to drag this one. Can you see? Now I can see my animals around you. Okay, can you see? So instead of doing it manually, that was why I advised that you double tap on it, double tap. Then you can actually see that your animals boundary can be seen um visibly. Do you get that? It's all over.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. Now, who can tell me the difference between the thing I'll be writing here? Let's write sheet two. I have sheet two here. We have on the origin. We have 11, 3, 25. We have 2, 3. We have 8, 0, 0. We also have let's say hashtags. Uh, yeah, let's have to see this. Okay. Now, who can tell me? I enter the same I enter different values here. So who can tell me what are the difference between these data sets? Just tell me anything you can see that is different between these data sets. This data. Anyone? Okay, I think
But
I'll call on. My screen is
bro, I
not
cannot see
showing.
your screen from my end.
Please can
Okay, you
everyone
said I
confirm if
can see
my
it now.
screen is not showing.
I can
You
see
said
it
no, you
from
said
my
no.
end.
Okay, who can tell me what's the obvious difference between these values here? What's the obvious difference there? Anyone?
Maybe some are numbers, some are letters, some are sounds.
Okay, thank you for that. Well, actually, that was not what I wanted. So you can see some are aligned to the left, while some are aligned to the right. So the first question you should ask ourselves really, why are some data aligned to the left and why are some aligned to the right? So when you see something like this, data, that's why we said data can be dirty. Okay, I was actually supposed to start from the process of data analysis, but let's continue. So we have sheet two, we have Abicoyan. Okay, maybe I'll just explain this one. We have processes of data analysis. Sorry, I'll come back to that one. We have processes of data analysis. Processes of data analysis. So we have the first process is getting our data. So when we are done getting our data, we want to clean our data. Clean or transform. Data, then clean or transform. What else? Okay, we have analysis of data. We also have after analysis, we have visualization.
Sorry, I can't hear you again.
Oh, you can't hear me. Okay. Now you can hear me now.
Okay, yeah,
So
I
we
can hear
have
now.
okay, good. So we have different process. These are the process of data analysis. We have getting our data, cleaning the data or transforming the data. Then we have analysis of data. We have visualization of data. We also have reporting the data. So now the first thing is getting our data. We have to import our data. Obviously, maybe you want to the company may be providing the data for you, or you will be the one that will generate the data. And there are different way of getting our data. So we look at that also. So the next thing is cleaning that data because actually data can be dirty. So what do we mean by data can be dirty? You find out soon. So data can be dirty, it just mean like there can be inconsistency in data entry, and that's what we refer to as data dirty data. And then when you have something like that, in cases like that, you have to clean it or transform it to be ready for analysis. So when you are done with your data transformation or data cleaning, you want to analyze the data. So analysis of data is more like, okay, the data is ready for analysis. You are trying to look at the trends and patterns to make an informed decision. Basically, that's what analysis. That's actually the crux of data analysis. So when you are done with analysis of data, you want to visualize your data. That is, you want to add bar graphs, all the column charts, all the back pie chart and all. You want to use that to represent your conclusion or your decision. So because not everyone will understand the numbers, and that's why we are using charts, different charts. Then you want to report your data. Basically, you just type it out with English words. Okay. When I analyze my data, I can see this is what caused uh, this particular decision, this is what caused this problem, and these are the recommendation of solving that particular problems. Those are how to report data, and we look at that when we are and when we go as we go on. So now that those are the process of data. I think we can move on now. So I enter some values here, and we can see some are aligned to the left while some are aligned to the right. So we actually have different types of data types and different data types. So let me just check it out. Okay. Majorly, we have text data type and numeric data type. Majorly, we have text data types and we have numeric data type. So what's the meaning of text data type? From the word text, that means something like ABC, all the special characters. So anything that's aligned to the left are what we call text data type. They follow that text data type. And anything that aligns to the right are are classified under numeric data type. You understand? Majorly, I said we have text data type. But under this text data type, right, we have alphanumeric, we have special characters. I can edit it here. Yeah. Special characters. And what else? Also have strong objects. So for numeric, we have numbers and dates. So now, what do we call alphanumeric? Alphanumeric is just alphabet and numbers. Then we have special characters. Special characters are dollar sign, asterisk sign, hashtag, Then strings or objects. String or objects is just alphabets, right? So it's not like it's not something special or something like that. So we also have number. Number is any number between 0 to 9. And date too is also classified as a numeric data type. So majorly we have text data type and we have numeric data type. Normally, text data type are expected to be aligned to the left. So whenever you enter any text data type, we expect it to align to the left hand side. Whenever we enter any numeric data type, we expect it to align towards the right hand side. So now, when we have 203, we have something like 203. Can you see this 203 now? It's expecting is expected to be aligned to the left. You understand? Sorry, to the right. And when I click on after this, we can see 203 is actually aligned to the left. So this is an example of a dirty data because 203 normally in numeric data type, right? But it's expected to be at this particular side, but now here. So we can say this particular data is actually dirty and we want to clean it. So because if you actually use the data set for division, it might give you bias or it might give you wrong information or something like that. We will look at that when we get to the crux of data analysis. So you can see something like 203. Actually, there's an asterisk there. If I should remove that asterisk here and click on enter, can you see my 203 is now aligned to the right? Because ordinarily, 203, which is under numeric data type, is expected to be aligned to the right. So this also is also aligned is also aligning to the right. So that's basically some things about data analysis, data entry. So now you ask me another question we need to ask ourselves is that why do we have date to be under numeric data type? Now date, okay, let me start like this. Text anything under text data type, we have alphabets. We can see this sheet 2, these are the columns, these are text, and we also call them strings or objects. Agreed. So we have something like 001. Ordinarily, 001 is supposed to be aligned to the one and to the right. But because there's an alphabet joining the number. Now this change this particular value into alphanumeric, and now alphanumeric is expected to be aligned to the left. And we have our special characters here, and these are special characters, all the hashtag, dollar sign, pound sign, all the city sign. They are special characters, and they are part of what take their type. So the numbers are numeric data type, obviously. Any number between 0 to 9, even if it's 1 billion, in as much it has values between 0 to 9. So we also have our date. So the next thing we want to ask is why is date under numeric data type? So if we write something like this 0, and we have something like this 1, please let's pay attention to this because a lot of people do not seem to understand this quickly. So we have 0 1. So let me just write it again here. 0 1. So we can understand very quickly. So basically I've written the same thing in this cells. So if I should click on this 0 cell, say hello. In my
I
network.
couldn't hear you earlier.
But can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can everyone hear me, please? Let me know before I move on.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. So if I should click on this cell, this zero cell, so under my home tab, so we have various sections here. So we can see something like number cells, number section. So we have a drop down here. So you want to click on this drop down. We can see what was there was what. What's there is what zero. If I should click on this drop down under my home tab, there's a number section, there's a drop down there. I want to click on that drop down. So we have different options there. Sorry, let me click that again. So we have different options there. So I want to change it to short date. So we can see it is giving me 1900. So now let's do the same for one. So if I should click on this drop down, then I want to change it to short date. So it is giving me 1900. That means Excel. Now let's listen to this part very well. Excel is pre-informed to start its counting from the first day of January. So this zero. Ordinarily, if you convert zero to date, that means 1900. And there's nothing like first of 1900. It's usually first of January 1900. So one, you can see one is starting from first of January 1900. So if you actually do something like 2000 and you convert this one, you convert this 2000 to short date. Can you see we have 6/22/1905? Now this 200 means 200 days after 1st of January 1905. You actually give us 6/22/1905. Sorry, 200 days after January 1st, 1900 will give us 6/22/1905. 1905. So if you write something like 40,000, this is 40,000, and we change it to date, that means it will give us 40,000 days after the first of January 1900, and that's like 2009. That's 7/6/2009. So that's how dates work actually. Now, do you understand how to convert number to date? Do you understand how date is now under numeric, because both of them are interchangeable? Do you get that? Do I get that? Please reply with an emoji if you are with me.
Can you go back again? Sorry, I didn't get that part.
Okay. So thank you. So I was saying that, okay, let me explain again like this. So we have zero, we have one, right? So we also have, let's say today's date is what, 11/3/2025. So let me say 11/3/2025. So this equals to write any function or formula in Excel, you have to start with an equals sign. So you want to write this one. I want to click on this cell. This cell is actually zero. So you want to write this cell plus one. Click on your enter key. So it's giving us one, obviously. So let's because we want to perform an arithmetic operation again, you have to start with an equals to this one. Click on this cell plus one. And you see it's giving us two. So if I should write equals to, click on this particular cell plus one. Can you see it's giving us 11/4/2025, which is tomorrow. That means you can actually perform arithmetic operation on date, and you can only perform arithmetic operation on numbers. That means date technically is number, and that's why I'm trying to prove how date is a number. So if we actually look at this, if you look at this zero, you can convert this zero into a date. So if you look at under our home tab, we have a number section. So there's a drop down here. If you click on this drop down, you have a short date. So if you click on this short date, you can see from zero it has changed to what, 10/1900, and obviously 10/1900 it's not possible. There's nothing like 10/1900. Now this is the first visible thing. That's number one. Number one, if you change it to date, can you see something like 11/1900? That means one is representing the first day of 1900. So if I want to change 200 to date, that means 200 will be 200 days after 1900, because the first day you made there, it was program that the first day in a year should be 1900. Do you understand? So if I'm converting 200 to date, that means that will be 200 days after 1900, after 1st of January 1900, and which is giving us 18th of July 1900. And if you actually calculate it, it is correct. You get that? You get that now? Africa,
Yes, I do. Thank you. Yes, yes, I do. Thank you
you're
very much.
welcome. You're welcome. So now you can also still convert this 11/3/2025 to numbers. So you can just click on this cell, go to this what do you call it, drop down, then you can just click on number or general specific. So let's just click on number. Then you can actually see something like 45,964. So obviously you will know that 45,964 days after the 1st of January 1900. That's actual, that means we've spent 45,964 days after 1900. And that's basically where we are today. Okay, good. Before let's move on. Now you can see this one have decimal number. Okay, we can see this one. This thing has decimal number. So you want to click on there is under our number section, under our home tab, under our number section again, there's this two sign which actually helps to one of them helps to increase decimal number, while one of them help to decrease decimal number. So when you hover your mouse over any of these sign, if I hover it here, you can see something like decrease decimal number. So in this case, because I actually want to make it a whole number, so I want to decrease my decimal number, I can just click on this one. Can you see? We now have one decimal number now. So I can just push it in and I can have converted this one to whole number. So the same thing for this one, this particular thing. If I should
Your
click on
screen
this
is
one,
not
you can see
showing.
something like,
Your screen is not showing.
oh God. Okay, is that the same for everyone? Please, can someone unmute the mic so I will know it's a general problem?
No, I can see your screen. I think maybe it's the network.
Um, can anyone still unmute the mic so I will know it's actually his network, not
It
mine?
is showing now. I can see it. I can see.
Okay, I guess it was your network before. So this 45,964. So you can just over your mouse here. You can see something like increase decimal. Now let's say my aim is to increase the decimal number. So you just want to click on this button. Then I can actually see that my decimal number is increasing. But in this case, I actually want to convert it to whole number, which is why I'm clicking on this button and I've converted it to a whole number. Now that's done. So now also to make this data readable, you understand? I have to add a comma. There have to be a comma separator. I want to know if we are working in the thousand or we are working in the millions. So I just want to click on this cell. Under my number cell again, I can see there is a comma here. So let's click on this comma. Then you can see our data set is now evidently this 45,964. But now it has added decimal colon and decimal number, which is two decimal number. To remove this decimal number, you just click on this one. 1, 2. Then you can see we now have. Then you can see we now have a well formatted number and it is easily readable and better than the one we wrote the other time. So this is 45,964. So basically, we've done a lot tonight. We've started from introducing what data analysis is, which I said data analysis is more like using the past data or the past trends to make informed decision, right? So then we also talked about the tools, the analytic tools we'll be discussing. I said we'll be looking at or we'll be discussing we'll be treating Excel data and sorry SQL and Power BI. But I said we have more than three data analytics tools. We have like 7 or 8 of them. But even when you work as a data analyst, you may not exactly need all of them. You may need like maybe just one. But I said the knowledge is transferable. When you know one, you can easily when you are proficient in the three basic tools you'll be looking at in this course, you'll be with in a faster time you will understand the rest if you are willing to learn it because the basics are the same the knowledge is transferable. You have a lot of similar functions in both of them, and they are very, very easy. Okay, so we also discussed about the interface of the Excel and introduced us what cells are, what aggregate of cells are, what is column, what is row, and we talked about the formula bar, the name box, the menu tab. Then I also talked about the taskbar and how to create different worksheets. So looking at this, we've done introduction to Excel, exploring Excel worksheet. So we've done data type, so Steve and open, and we've done basic shortcuts, which is not data entry. Okay, so this is actually data entry. So we actually did data entry. Data entry is just how to enter data, which is what we've done. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, so when I'm done, how do I save my workbook? So you can actually see something there. It's called save. And you can see when I hover my mouse there, you can see something like Control S. To save this workbook, let's say you are done with your analysis, you can just press something like Control S and you can save your workbook. So let's say I want to save it on my desktop. So let's say I want to save it on my desktop. I'll just click on my desktop, loading. So now let's just change the name to first worksheet, first Excel workbook. So you just want to click on save. That's basically how to save your data. And you can see you have our first Excel worksheet. So whenever you are done, you can just click on this shortcut, or you can just press your Control and S. Then you can save your work. So yeah, that's where we'll be stopping tonight because we've actually discussed a lot. We discussed about the process of data analysis, different data types. You have the text and numeric. But under text, you have alphanumeric, you have the special characters, you have the strings or objects. Also, under our numeric data type, you have the numbers, you have the date. And I said how to format the date. Majorly, we looked at this number section, and this is where we call it a day. But before we go, we have few important things to discuss. So I was actually instructed to teach us between 2 to 3 days. So maybe we will be voting after the class to know the days we'll be teaching. If we are all fine with Monday, and because I'm actually occupied on Tuesday and Thursday, so we have Monday, Wednesday, Friday to teach because it has to be in the weekday. So maybe there will be a poll that we will be voting to decide on which day we'll be having the class. Maybe every Monday, I'm sorry, maybe on Mondays and on Thursdays, or maybe on Mondays and Fridays. So we'll get to know that after the class. Also, I would like someone to volunteer to do the class rep, or let's say something like yeah, more like a class rep. But majorly, the task of the person. Majorly, the task of the person would be reminding me that okay, we have class today because honestly, I have a lot of things I'm juggling together. So I will not forget that I have a class to take. Okay. So for now, there are no questions. I don't have any question. There's no question on my end. But before I go, I also want to implore us because I said it earlier. I said it earlier when I joined the class that this is a 6 week class. This 6 week class is very short for data analysis, and for us to maximize this learning space, you have to be disciplined. You have to be consistent. Obviously, these are new things. We may not entirely understand it. We may have a lot of new terms and stuff like that. But it just takes 6 weeks discipline, and then someone will be guided through as a data analyst. So we just want to show up in every class, do all the projects, do all the assignments, and try to rewatch class because I will be uploading it on YouTube for you to get a better quality. So because I heard that when you watch classes on Drive, it consume more data, but I'm trying to be more generous now. So I will upload it on YouTube. It is clearer. It is it is safer and you can easily have it for future use. But yes, maybe after each class, you you should, I implore you to you watch the class because there are a lot of new things. I'm actually trying to watch a lot of things that should be separated in just in 3 months or 6 months at most, and we are treating it in just 6 weeks. So it is better when we are done with every class, please don't assume you understand it. If the class will be going for 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, so it is something you can easily rewatch before the next class. So I implore everyone to rewatch the class when we drop the video link after its class. So yeah, that's where we're dropping the curtain for today. See you next class. Thank you for joining. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.